eyes clear. How my baby's running this the block cause you fear what you do to you if you get dirty hands and veneer. What you do, what she is, little boy, I tell you this. If baby wants sit, she can sit. If baby says lit, it's lit. Got your bank account and not cute. If she said it loud, it's the truth. If baby wanna ride, she can ride. Baby needs some time, she got time. Got your bank account and not cute. She can make it count, how about you? She would put you in the bag, wouldn't even need a planet. If she wanted, she a magnet. They should let her name a planet. Everything she drop like Corona, viral, make the world start over like I own her. She ain't about to set, but they really wanna throne her. Listen, she like bass, she like Hover. Self-employed, moving paper better than some Billy Boy. Made a choice on the regular, she bring a milli home. Click my phone, get my ass up, get a dinner going. Watch she out there, making sure that you all know. Baby wants sit, she can sit. Baby says lit, it's lit. Got your blank account and not cute. If she said it loud, it's the truth. If baby wanna ride, she can ride. Baby needs some time, she got time. Got your bank account and not cute. She can make it count, how about you? She be always making money. If it's raining, if it's sunny, she make time to call me honey every day. Drop a couple bands on the click, then he pay. Then a couple more on the tip, baby saves. Daddy's just the everyday, imagine holiday. If I get the 50 cents, she get me holidays. Signing with the fly, if you meet her, know it's true. So if she ever asks you, you know that baby wants sit, she can sit. Baby says lit, it's lit. Got your blank account and not cute. If she said it loud, it's the truth. If baby wanna ride, she can ride. Baby needs some time, she got time. Got your bank account and not cute. She can make it count, how about you?
Hello there.
What up, though?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Unapologetic with me, your host, Mandrell. Okay, and over there is my little sister. Yes, blood sister. This is blood kin.
Wrong, little sister.
Anyway, that's my little sister, Shoo Shoo. So, yes, welcome her as well. Thank you very much for coming. How have you been?
I've been doing pretty good. Can't complain.
Pretty good. If I don't talk to you every day, it's like I haven't spoken to you in like 10 years or something. It's weird.
I know, right?
Yeah, like I mean, like we talk. Yeah, that's right. People in the audience, thank you for coming out. But yeah, if I talk, we talk every day, just about, don't we?
Just about, yeah.
And like I said, when days we don't talk, we feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Like I didn't talk to you. Like we didn't talk yesterday. I don't think.
No. Yeah, no, not yesterday.
Yeah. 4th of July, I don't think we talked either. Which is interesting. Which brings us to tonight's topic, which will be massive shootings. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes, and gun violence. But first, before we get to that, let's pay some bills. Hopefully, we can get some donations for you to help you with your living expenses. You know, you ladies like to live.
Donation.
That's right. Donations. Donations.
Right.
Donations. Donations.
Gifts.
Gifts. And for the record, it's not my birthday. Someone thought it was my birthday because of that meme. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But no.
Exactly. That's what I felt like doing. That's what I felt like doing. But no. Speaking of that, what do you think of that Macy Gray deal?
Well, I think she spoke her mind, and you know, that's how.
Oh, it's not like she was lying.
What she said, and that's just it.
Well, she told the truth. What was so wrong with it?
You right. Hey, Corey. Yeah, I mean, and just to be honest, I think a lot of people feel the way she feels. Hey, Queen Smiley. And yeah, I think a lot of people feels the way she feels.
Well, the thing about feeling it is she spoke facts. Let's see, King Thanos.
Hey, Thanos.
Mandreezy, that's Mandreezy and Shoo blessings. What's up, God King Thanos? What's up, man? Yeah, let's do that. First, let's go to the chat and thank everyone for coming to support us. We got Corey Hager as usual. Appreciate you coming out, my brother, from another skin color. There you go. You like that one? My brother from another skin color. Out, yeah, that's right. That's Corey Hager. Billy the Kid.
Billy the Kid.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, I'm sorry, Billy the Kid. Every time I see you, I've been thinking about Lil Wayne.
Right. Also, listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to donate to Shamari and I, make sure we get the money. The Cash App and the PayPal is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. So make sure you pay that close attention. And go to the PayPal or the Cash App. Donate to us directly. We need it too. All right? Inflation's off the chain. It ain't getting no better. It's only going to get worse, to be honest.
Yeah.
But no one seems to notice. No one seems to care. And just like my boy Tommy B just said, people, hit the like button ASAP.
That's right.
We got Andre Terry. What's up, Andre?
Hey, Andre.
What's up, Andre? Andre's all right. I like to have Andre come camp up one of these days, man. He's all right guy.
Right. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge we got super chat. The Thanos theory says this is for Bishop Mandrell Zala. All right. Bishop Mandrell Zala. So we're gonna get a super chat for you. Thank you so much. And also the Vaughn Bryant. Vaughn says peace, joy, and longevity. Great
peace,
show.
Joy, and longevity to you both. Yes. Praise God. You'll get it one day. I can't do it today because my throat's killing me. But I'm gonna go with the fellow with the footwork, Bishop, whatever his name is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they look like they was at a family reunion or something, and he was doing the dance. Yeah, do that one.
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
Isn't it though? Also, let's also thanks for coming out. The beautiful Jenny Morena. Yes.
Hey Jenny. Hey Jenny.
We have to acknowledge and thank Jenny for coming out. As always.
Siri, shut up. I said Jenny, not Siri. Anyway, that's so random. Whatever.
Well, see, that's what you get for having one of those my phones.
You mind backing up a little bit from your mic?
Why?
It's crackling a bit because it's crackling and yakking a little bit.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Right.
The mic's way over here.
Now try it. You know what I'm saying? Mic check 1 2 1 2. Do it. Mic check
1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
Ready? Yeah. I'm ready.
I am. That's the thing. I am ready. Apparently, my internet service is not. I don't know what's up with it.
Oh my God!
I just paid the bill, just so they got my money.
Oh no.
Yeah, Andre Terry, thank you for coming out, brother. Thank you. Jenny Marina, Queen Smiley. I ain't gonna like Queen Smiley. I ain't gonna like Queen Smiley. You do it to me.
Oh no.
Skin color and all. Yeah, hey, listen. That's a pretty woman there. That's a pretty woman there. It is.
All right.
I'm not macking.
You know what? We're gonna do a online dating episode just for you, Mandrell.
Oh, please. Three women are gonna show up.
I know.
3 women are gonna show up. Who's gonna be you? Who's hosting?
Thank you, Queen.
That's right, Queen Smiley. The king needs a new mic. That's right.
He needs a new mic. Yes,
Let's give her something special. Let's give her something special for that super chat. Yes, something real special. Random select. Which one are you?
Hey, Bill, I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a flick up. Bill, I'm in the mood for a change up. I leave the city and return with my change up. They got amnesia, don't remember.
Your girl started river dancing. I ain't never seen that before. Hey, run that back. Yeah, run that, play that. We gotta see.
Hey, Bill, I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a flick up. Bill, I'm in the mood for a change up. I leave the city and return with my change up. They got amnesia, don't remember.
Yes, sir. I don't know what the dude was doing. He was trying, I guess.
He was trying.
I don't know. He was trying, I guess. I don't know, but that river dancing. That was a good one. We got Lou in here, if I can find him. Yeah, Tommy B. Yeah, Lou is here. Salute to the panel. He says, Andre Terry. I'm thanking you once again because I'm trying to get Andre Terry to come up on one of these panels one night. You know what I mean? He's in line. You see, Andre understands that people come and take shots at me, and then when I shoot back at them, they don't like it because when I hit them, it hurts. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, but then the problem is that people in the audience will see that and they're like, Mandrell is so emotional. He's off the chain. He's so mean. No, They started it. Okay. Yes. And when you listen, here's the right, but when a child misbehaves, don't you spank him? Mm-hmm. So that's all I'm doing. They misbehave in the chat and they get spanked. But I'm the mean one. Okay. Well, discipline rarely ever comes in a comfortable way. Okay? It's rarely learned in a comfortable way. So anyway, Tommy B, thanks for coming out. King Thanos. Again. Big ability kid fam.
Right.
Okay,
thank you. And M
Mills. Yep. Thank you for coming out. Brown Girl Bella. No clue who that is. She must be new.
Well, welcome. We welcome you.
Yeah, welcome. We welcome you.
Welcome.
Co-host Black Man Unfiltered. Brown Girl, Black Man Unfiltered is not here tonight. I am the host. Me. Okay? This is Unapologetic with Mandrell. This is my show.
Right.
And my sisters when I'm not here.
Oh, so,
but anyway,
to
the
topic. Yeah. So, mass shootings again.
What about them? Yeah, another one. And you're not gonna stop it.
That right there. What about them? That's the exact attitude that people have towards mass shootings now. It's so common, and it's so sad. What up, Marcus? It's insane. So, your thoughts on this, since you the host?
My thoughts on what? The latest mass shooting?
Mm-hmm.
It's just another case of a sociopath being a sociopath, and he went out and did some sociopathic shit. Case closed.
Yeah, it's funny.
We don't have a motive yet. We don't know why he did it, but they did capture him.
I'm not sure if they're just not clear on a motive or they just haven't gotten one. But that a motive hasn't been stated yet. I know I saw this one of the news reports I was watching. They were describing a little bit about him and like his personality and stuff like that. And they were saying how, of course, he was a loner. He was like, you know, one of those gamer types. And they were talking about some of his past troubled behavior. And he has been known to keep like knives. He was reported that he like attacked his family. He has made a deletion attempt. Like violently. So, and I know they said he made like a deletion attempt, and dang, this particular news report I saw, like the news reporter was, you know, she was asking one of the I guess one of the guys who was like I guess I don't know if he's working on a case or like, you know, just about people who have those kind of disturbances. And he was saying that because the question was, why wasn't anything like any action taken like before all of this, you know, all things led up to this. And basically the guy was saying, well, you know, when it comes to people who are like, you know, younger like that, you know, and all this stuff happened, like, you know, in his teens, the family they have to like take action. And as a matter of fact, like his father like signed off or like waved off on him getting a gun or something like that.
Yeah, when he was like 17. Right.
So, and it's another report I saw too, like one of his former classmates was talking about, you know, what kind of person he was, what kind of personality he had. And she said pretty much the same thing. She was saying how he was just a loner. And I remember distinctively her saying, she was like, oh, well, yeah, you could tell he was disturbed, but I never thought in a million years he would do something like this.
Well, then why would you say he's disturbed? First, before we get to that, I want to say, make an announcement. Corey Hager has just sent us $50 via PayPal. I want to thank that. Yes. And that's all going to go to you. Because let's be honest, I don't need the money. So I'll just send you that. Yes. Thank you for donating to us, Corey Hager. Always appreciate it, brother. Let's hit him with something special as well.
Yeah.
You know what? Do the Mandrell birthday thing. I don't mind.
Yes. Come on.
Yeah, do the Mandrell birthday thing. I don't mind. So go ahead.
Like you're writing on him. Come on.
Yeah. I guess we're not doing anything for the PayPal, I guess.
For the super chat.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess it's just super chats. I guess I don't know.
No, I mean, you know, it just.
Is my mic okay?
You still cracking just a little bit.
I don't know what's up with that.
I don't know what's up with that either.
It might be something with the cables.
Could be. Emmanuel Williams, email, what's going on? He says, don't put nothing past nobody. And that's so true.
Okay,
yeah,
how's that?
That's better.
That's better?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Okay, that's a lot better. Gotcha. You know what happened? The cat's been chewing on the cord. Because I had an extension cord on the headset. The cat's been chewing on it. And now it's got a shortage in it, apparently.
Yep, your badass cat.
Anyway, but yeah, you can't put anything past anything. But here's the problem with this. When you talk to psychologists, psychiatrists, anyone in the field of psychoanalysis, you can't pinpoint who's going to do something like this through cross-examination and therapy. That's the problem with it. That's the problem with it. And
you know what? That is so true. But here is where I got to give a little pushback. There are some patterns, like some behaviors that you see in people that you can obviously see, hey, this is a troubled person, like this person needs help. Like, I think when someone, it's one thing for someone to think about like self-eliminating, but when they actually make an attempt to do so, that is the ultimate sign of depression, the ultimate sign of, hey, this person has some serious issues and they need help. Anytime you see people doing like, you know, small acts of violence and stuff like that, or just acting out like that, a lot of times that is a cry for help. But many cases and many times, like particularly family members or people who are around people like that on a regular basis, I think it's a disservice when they keep themselves in a sense of denial, saying like, oh, you see the obvious signs, but it's like, oh, well, they would never do that. They would never do that. Because, I mean, you know, in damn near every case that this has happened, like with the mass shooter, like it's always like, oh yeah, we seen they were disturbed, they had trouble, you know, the signs were there, like serious signs. Like even on his social media, the guy had a YouTube page and he made videos like a couple months back talking about doing this whole thing, doing exactly what he did.
Yeah, but see, the problem with that,
anything, nobody reported him, nothing. See, like people just. Well,
here's the problem. Here's the problem with that.
Now that he does something like this, that's a surprise. So my thing is like, I mean, you know, I mean, as a society, and I don't know, I mean, maybe it speaks to the fact that we have been desensitized to the point where we just completely gloss over or just don't notice or don't pay attention to things like this. But like so often does this happen, and like when they go back into the person's history, like behavioral history, all of that, like they've been saying and leaving breadcrumbs all along that this is what they were going to do.
No,
I think it's just
no. Is it okay now? Is it okay now?
Yeah.
Okay. The thing is, all of those behaviors are associated.
Can you turn the volume down on your mic?
Okay, how about now?
You turned it up.
Okay. How about now?
That's better.
Okay, because I can't even hear myself through the headphones. I think it's a combination of the mic and the connection. I got Spectrum, so I mean, there you have it.
Ass kicked.
True. But here's the problem with that. All of those behaviors are associated. All those factors are associated with this kind of behavior. It's not a causation.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you can't just take behavior like that and say, okay, this person is going to do something like this. Because there's too many people who do the same behavior. They have the same behavior patterns, same personality type, the whole nine. And there's so many of them who don't do this, you know what I'm saying, that you can't say that this is a causation. Like, for instance, you take a sociopath or a psychopath, right? Sociopaths, they don't go to therapy. A psychopath would do it out of fun, just to analyze the therapist. That's what a psychopath would do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A sociopath, they don't go to therapy because there's nothing wrong with me. You know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with me. What I'm doing is right. Even though they do what they do, knowing that it's harming people, and they have no regard for that. They don't care. As long as they get the results that they want. They're far more reckless than a psychopath is. Psychopath is manipulative, calculated, and they know what they're doing as well, but they're definitely far more, they're person you never suspect. The psychopath is. Sociopath, you can say, yeah, that dude's off. That's a sociopath. Yeah, that dude's off. But yeah, that's the thing. Things like poverty.
You know what? Like since we talking about sociopaths and psychopaths, like for instance, what's his name? Not Charles Manson. The other guy who was like eating people, who was like killing people and like eating
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
Right. So for the most part, they said he was a nice guy. He was like quiet. You know what I mean? So like I could see him being like going under the radar, unexpected. You know what I'm saying? But like for someone who, like I said, like with this guy in particular, like he's made attempts to off himself. He's been violent towards his family. You know what I mean? He has certain traits. It's like obvious you have problems. And you making posts on social media, like videos about doing stuff like this. Like, hello.
But
I mean, at this point, you say, yo, this person I love you, but you need help.
Here's where the rubber meets the road on that. Okay, E-Man made a fantastic statement, except for the McDonald's part, because I'm not allowing you to eat McDonald's. E-Man says, since you don't need the money, should grab some McDonald's on me. Shushu doesn't eat McDonald's, okay? The problem is you can't be open. He said the problem is you can't be open with psychologists and therapists. We all would listed, mean be listed. B-E, 2 letters. That's 2 letters. In which we wouldn't listen, E-Man. We will all be listed as crazy if we told them what we really think. Now, E-Man is absolutely correct. We would be, and I'm going to explain why right after this.
Dump and jump for the shit. All top when I speak, all cap with the speech till they caught up in the rapture. So out of line with the phrase game. Let's take a break, been a long day. Hit your line with you fall through with the light stick.
Right. Now here's the thing. If I told therapists, what?
Can we go for Corey?
Where? Oh yeah, one for Corey. Let's get one for Corey because he dropped a PayPal. I don't really care for that one. Okay. Even though I'm not old enough to remember, I remember Vietnam. Okay, listen, bad joke. My bad. It was funny to me. But Corey's old enough to remember Vietnam. So anyway, listen, I would sound like a complete nutter if I was completely open and honest to my therapist. I would. They probably like me. No, probably in it. They report me to the authorities. Mm-hmm. Like, if I told them exactly what I was thinking, I'd disappear. Not of my own accord either. The folks would come get me if I told them what I was really thinking. However, and that's why you can't. These behaviors are not causations. Everyone's looking at if you look at it, these behaviors are a result of something. Something else is causing these behaviors. No one's trying to figure out what that is. Because everyone's had bad thoughts. Everyone's had thoughts of punching someone in the face or putting something in someone's food or making them have diarrhea. You know what I'm saying? Or throwing drink in someone's face or killing someone. Everyone's had thoughts like that of some sort, violent thoughts, you know? So, yeah, and the kid lashing out on his family, that happens. That's a common thing, you know, not only in America, but worldwide. That's something that happens in a lot of families that is not talked about.
Yeah, but I think that there would be something very uncomfortable about, like, me being in the same house with someone who lashed out on their family, and not only they lashed out on their family, like they had violent weapons, like they got knives, like they had a whole knife collection in their room, like not in the kitchen where it should be, in their room. You know what I mean? Like they collect and stuff like that. Or like, you know, I tread lightly on people around people I know have a lot of like firearms. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's something different about that. Like it's very uncomfortable knowing someone is temperamental, but have like, you know, like assault rifles and stuff like that. Like,
well, here's the thing.
Something in you, like there has to be something in you, like this is not okay.
No, right? Not really. No, I'm a firearm.
Well, I don't know about that because, like, prime example, being here in New York, like I see mentally, like people who are really mentally disturbed.
Yeah,
all the time. People who are really, like, for real, emotionally disturbed all the time. And something that often happens is like when people have, like, those kind of people have outbursts on the train. A lot of times, like, New Yorkers are desensitized to it because they see it so much. So they would just sit there as if, you know, this person isn't like having an all out like spazzing. And I'm talking about spazzing to the point they get in people's faces and all this other stuff. Like people still just sit there. Like they don't see it. Like they'll just try to ignore the person. Certain things I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't see. I'll still get up and leave. I'll move to the next car. Like you're not even supposed to, like, technically if a police officer sees you walking through the carts while the train is like moving, like in between stations. Like they can give you a ticket. I don't care. I'm moving. I'm not waiting to the next stop. If I see somebody acting a fool, cutting up, I'm not going to sit there and pretend like I don't see it. But what happens is that is the prime example of what happens, what's happened to America. Or, you know what I mean, in everyday lives, you know somebody, when you see somebody acting a plum dang fool, or they're violent to the point where like they're attacking people, they got like whole like collections of like, you know, weapons and stuff like that. And I mean, it doesn't bother you that they have like they're temperamental.
Does it bother you that does it bother you that I own several firearms?
I mean, that's not surprising to me though.
Okay, but here's the thing. You come and visit me, right? You did come visit me like last week, right? You were here, you slept over like the whole weekend. You didn't even know I had them, right?
No, I know they're here. I know
they're here.
I know you got the whole samurai like sword you got. But I mean, here's why it doesn't bother me though, because you're not temperamental. At least you're not temperamental with me. Like you don't just fly off the handle and just go off the cuff like wilding over anything small or for no reason. Like if now that was your behavior, that was your attitude, I would not have stayed at your apartment. And please believe, I would have been trying to push you to get some help somewhere. Like, listen, he need help. Like I'm worried about him. He need help. Trust and believe, that would have been a conversation with mom. Listen, he got something going on over there. He need help. Okay?
But here's the thing.
Like, you know, so having those weapons is not what bothers me. It's like a person who, like, if you had them weapons and you had that kind of attitude, that behavior, that would be disturbing to me.
Well, there are
like,
people
oh yeah, oh no, he's okay. Oh, he's all right. No.
Okay, well, there are people in the chat that would argue the negative on that. They think I am temperamental for some reason. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Why people think I'm just a madman. I don't know. I don't get it. Anyway, first, when it comes to mass shooters, let's define what that is, all right? Yeah, and also, yeah, you've seen the samurai sword and all that stuff, and that's a real one, by the way, people. It's sharp as fuck, too. But you see that big-ass Mossberg and the other shit back there. Yeah, right. And that's the point. You're not supposed to know where it is. You're not supposed to see it. All right. A mass shooting is defined as a minimum of 3 or 4 victims of gun violence, excluding the shooter. Okay. Now that's what a mass shooting is: 3 or 4 victims, excluding the shooter. You know, in the event that the shooter got hit. Now the thing is, I've never seen a gun just grow legs and shoot someone, just like Primal Studies said here in the chat. Shout out to Primal Studies. And he's right. The guns are not the problem. Hey, listen to Tommy. She's snitching. But here's the thing. Yeah. That's the guns are not the problem. It's the mentality of the culture, American culture. And we can't say that violent movies are the problem. We can't say video games, right? Because like growing up, I thought the Army was some fun shit to do because I saw Daddy doing it, as you know what I'm saying? And you know, I was always watching action movies, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, all that crazy shit, right? And pro wrestling, some of my inspiration for bodybuilding, lifting weights, you know, and then Mike Tyson, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. I didn't go off the handle beating people up or shooting people, you know what I'm saying? I watched Menace to Society and Boys in the Hood just like everybody else, but I wasn't no dope dealer. I wasn't in the streets like that. I knew people who were, but at the same time, they chose to do what they did. I chose to do something else. You know, they went their way, I went mine when it came to that kind of thing. But we really need to get into the psyche of people to fix this. All these behaviors, these are the results of something. Because look at how bad things have gotten. According to the data from the Gun Violence Archives, there have been at least 314 mass shootings in 2022. 314. That's an average of 1.7 per day. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Yo, all right, it ain't the guns. It's y'all. It's you people. You know, it's the people that are doing it. So taking the guns away is not going to fix anything. In fact, it'll make people more vulnerable because it's not.
What do you mean, you people?
Huh?
What do you mean, you people? What
Well,
you
you know,
mean?
we call you people
What
normies.
you mean, you people?
Civilians. Civilians. Okay. And dark skinned people like yourself. Not light ones like me. Okay. I got my skin color from, for the record, people, I got my skin color from my mother. She got hers from our father.
That's terrible.
It's true. Okay. We're going to get through this so I can get my throat to rest.
Mm-hmm.
But there are at least five. There are at least five mass. And see, everyone's focused on this one at the parade in Highland Park.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how the media tries to make Highland Park seem like it's not in Chicago. That's Chicago. Fuck you. Listen to like Genesis is in the chat right now, right?
Right.
She lives in Chicago. Right. I seen your little podcast. He lives in Chicago. Sir Hales is from Chicago. Sir Hales, he's from Chicago. Genesis is in the chat right now. She'll tell you that happened in Chicago.
Right.
Highland Park is in Chicago. Like you and I know that. We've been to Chicago. So I mean, but then everyone's focused on that one. But there were at least 5 other mass shootings incidents identified by gun violence on the 4th of July, including one in Boston.
Yeah. I heard about that one. That's crazy.
Yeah, and so, you know, we have to watch out again. We have to watch out for the media. The media likes to spin stuff. You know what I mean? They already Highland Park is.
She said Highland Park
is not Chicago. Highland Park is with Richard. No, listen, Genesis, you stop that now. Now you stop that, Genesis. You know Highland Park. That's still Chicago. That's Chicago. Stop it. It's just the media is trying to separate rich people from, you know, the undesirables.
Right.
That's the way it is.
Right.
Like if Jordan used to live in Highland Park, it's still Chicago.
That's true.
So there it is. Stephen Day, hello, thank you for joining us. You're late. Shame on you. Anyway, see, Genesis is bougie, and she probably lives in Highland Park. So that's probably what that is. Anyway, there's not enough money. There's not enough money being put into finding the causation of this behavior. There is.
It's not going to. I read another news report that was saying like after which one was it? It wasn't the Texas one. Was it like Buffalo? It was after one of those like was it like the security industry for like security like went up like crazy. Like they made like for private security companies and stuff like that. Like they made an incredible amount of money after that. Like because the need for them skyrocketed. So after that, you know, and also, I mean, you know, what was it? It was an article I read, Vanity Fair. They were talking about how the Republicans actually admitted the title of it is a disturbing percentage of Republicans think mass shootings are just, and I quote, something we have to accept as a part of living in a free society.
It is. If you're not going to fix, if you're not going to find out what the causation of mental health is, and the fact of the matter is, people are going to have to accept the fact that we live amongst more sociopaths and psychopaths than we can realize. You see, there's no guidance in America. If you notice, there's no guidance. I mean, and the government is allowing people to force certain lessons on their children that their parents don't want on them. Take, for instance, the LGBTQ community, right? Shout out to them. Lovely people. Okay? And but it's not really their fault that the culture is being forced on the greater American society. Mm-hmm. It's the media, if you notice. And it's the government, if you notice, the government is giving this a real big push. Now, representation is important. I agree. So members of the LGBTQ community, they need representation. It's important. Me as a black man, I have to understand that. I got no choice but to understand it, right?
Right.
But when it's been shoved down people's throats all the time, like I'm not running around saying I'm straight because nobody cares.
Right.
By that same token, I don't care who's gay.
Right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? But in schools, they're forcing kids, kindergarten, first grade, to be able to say, no, I identify as this gender, I identify with that gender. When they're that age, they don't even know what gender is, really.
Right, that's true. They don't.
You know? So
right.
You have to look at things like that and other things that have been forced into us. Like you have Donald Trump, even though he wasn't the boogeyman that everybody made him out to be, he still got on television and said some crazy shit. And people were stupid enough to believe the crazy shit. That's just people. It's just people. That's all. That's what it boils down to.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to focus on what's causing people to go out here and do this kind of stuff. I grew up watching G.I. Joe, Transformers, Silverhawks, Thundercats, all that crazy shit. And all that was violent as fuck if you look at it.
Yeah, it was.
I wasn't running around chopping folks' heads off. So it ain't TV, it ain't the media, it's not the guns. They sit on the shelf doing nothing. They sit on the shelf doing nothing to no one.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree that there is some kind of some disconnect or something going on, because like especially with this new generation of like kids and teenagers coming up, because I've never seen so many teenagers in my life that have been so depressed, so wanting to end life before they even got a chance to experience it. Like, I don't understand where the disconnect is and how it got that way, because, and I don't know, maybe being like, little at the time, like, or younger at the time, when I got to be a teenager, I don't ever remember so many people being like in that state of mind or like being in that mind frame. Like now, if we had quote unquote, like, incidents at school of like shootings or whatever, it was gang related, and that was during the time where like, gangs were like a really big thing. But other than that, like you talking about people who like, just like, oh my God, I just want to end my life as a teenager. Like, and you can say social media, and you can't deny that social media is an element that we didn't have to deal with. So I mean, maybe it does play a part in it, but at the same time, like I said, I don't know where the disconnect is.
Yeah, well, I think it's more closer to home than people realize or care to think, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, right. And because again, these outside influences, when it comes to television, movies, music, video games, that's not inspiring people to do stuff like the vast majority of these incidents happening. Now, you do have your ones and twosies here and there. I remember some kids beat somebody up real bad because they watched an episode of Beavis and Butthead. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's the case at all. I think these kids just felt like beating somebody up, was curious about what it was, the sensation would be like to do that, and they did it. And they found something that's easy to blame, even easy to point the finger to, as a scapegoat. Mm-hmm. I honestly believe that's what it was. And I think honestly believe that's what a lot of this is as well. When it comes to this, Primal Steady says this is a lack of father/male role models issue. How many young ladies? Jesus, how many young ladies out there doing acts of violence like this? See, there's a thing. He has a fantastic point. This is why you can't point to the guns as an issue. This is why you can't point at music, video games, movies, and all that stuff as an issue. No, I think these kids are being neglected at home from real parenthood, right? I think real parenthood is missing in the homes because, and oftentimes not the parent's fault. What if the parent has to work 2 or 3 jobs? You know what I'm saying? What if both parents? Because look at our parents. They both had degrees, and they both worked 2 jobs.
Right. Yeah.
And we were at home by ourselves a lot of times, right?
Right.
Only thing they could do is teach us how to handle ourselves and pray for the best.
Right. But let's
you know what I'm saying? That's real. That's real. That's what it seems.
Let's just be honest. We were still part of that generation where like you knew better than to try your mama.
Right. But at the same time,
all the teacher had to say was, "I'm gonna call your mama," and you straighten up too quick. Like, please don't call my mama, please. So I just give me one more chance. You know what I mean? So and we had a father in the household too.
Yeah.
And you can't deny having a father in the household makes a difference.
A good father at that.
Yeah, and like you know, and I do think that it is like there's a lack of parenting somewhere, even if it's unintentional. It doesn't mean that you don't love your kids, but there is somewhere as a lack of parenting somewhere, because like for instance with these music videos and stuff like that, like we had music back in the day that was like just as vulgar. Things that we shouldn't have been listening to as teenagers, but we were like sneaking and listening to them. Like we weren't listening to them with our parents. Like we knew better. Like as a matter of fact, if our parents heard us listen to them, it's like, what is that? Like throw that out, like turn the station. But like nowadays you got a lot of the parents partying with their kids. They're trying to be more friends than they are trying to be a parent or a role model. So a lot of it, especially with these teenagers and stuff like that, I think a lot of it is just a lack of parenting somewhere.
Yeah, because I remember both our parents told me, "I'm not your friend." Like mom said, "I'm not your friend. I'm your mom."
Right.
I was in my 20s. I still had no fucking clue what that meant. Daddy told me that growing up. "I'm not your friend. I'm your daddy."
Right.
I was like, okay, whatever. I just kind of went with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know what that means. I do now. But, you know.
Okay. Look, Cora Hannah says, my generation got our butt spanked for bad behavior. The timeout generation is in trouble and suffering mental health problems. It's so true.
Nigga, Corey Hager, man, I got my ass whooped so many times. All for her. It's the same.
Lies. Who lies?
I'll take it.
You were just a bad
No, I was not.
Bad because you thought you was Superman, always trying to be a superhero somewhere, jumping off stuff, breaking stuff, and got your tail tagged for it. That's what that was. How bad it?
No, well, see, listen. I was always the daredevil. That's true.
Yeah.
That was. I remember me and Rico was doing backflips off the house. We climbed up to the roof of the house and we started doing backflips off of it.
Right.
Crazy shit.
Right.
We got skipped up for that too, man. God. we got skipped. Yeah, we got whooped real bad for that. Because here's the thing, as an adult, I now understand this kind of stuff. Like, okay, what are you gonna tell mom and daddy? How do you explain that?
Right.
They doing backflips off the house. Where in the world were you? You tell me you didn't notice? You know what I'm saying? Something like that crazy going on? So I understand that now. Like, how do you explain that?
Right.
We break our legs or something. Or, you know, hey, it worked for us. We were skilled gymnasts, I guess. Anyway, Queen Smiley says there definitely needs to be some checks and balances when we see behaviors that give mass shooter vibes. If nothing more than a 72-hour hold to say, "Yo, what's up?"
Right.
Yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, we have dropped the link. Mm-hmm. So please join us if you can. Join the conversation. Tell us what you think. I think the solve for this. The solve for this is we have to invest far more money into psychotherapy and psychoanalysis to identify causations, because right now we have none. We have no way to identify the causation of mass shooters, gang violence. We have associative behaviors. They're like coming from poverty. That's an association, but it's not a causation, because what rules it out is there are far too many people who come from impoverished backgrounds who don't go out and do these things, who don't go out and sell drugs, who don't end up being in the revolving door of prison. There's far too many people who don't do that. In contrast to the people who do, who come from the same backgrounds, for you to say that, well, poverty is the cause. No, they ain't the cause. That's associated with it because it's something that's in both scenarios. You know, so it's an association of the behavior, but not the causation. We need to invest. That's my solution. Invest far more money in research and the development of techniques to identify causations in violent behavior. You're not going to stop someone from being a psychopath. You're not going to stop someone from being a sociopath. That's just going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it. That's just going to happen. Right. You know, but what you can do is see people, once you identify it, help these people manage their behavior and understand that, listen, you can't do X, Y, and Z. That's going to hurt the other person. Now, a person who's a psychopath or a sociopath is going to say, not my problem. But you have to you have to convince them that it's for the greater good that they look out for their fellow man. You have to convince them of this. We need to develop techniques for that, because right now there's no way to stop this. As we stand now, it's just gonna happen. It's human nature. It's a part of the human condition.
Because I was thinking about it earlier. I was like, you know, just like there are people who want to see the good in people and want to help, like, spread joy and love and all of that to the world. There are equally people out here who seek out and perpetuate the evil in this world.
Yeah,
and actually go out and want to like actually take out, you know, evil acts on the world.
Right, and there's other conditions where people can turn on and off their, let's call it, their sense of humanity. You feel me? Right. Where the conscience, the conscience, and things like that, things that cause you to be human, there's a switch they can turn it on and off. You know what I'm saying? This is found very common in soldiers with post-traumatic stress disorder. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And Queen Smiley says, Corey, did your mama braid the switches together? I got a whooping like that before.
Right. Yeah.
I did. Yeah, Queen Smiley.
Right.
Queen Smiley. I got a whooping before. My mama took 3 switches from a plum tree, braided them bad boys together,
and tore them up.
Yeah, I don't even know what I did.
Tore them up.
I don't even know what I did. I have no clue what lesson I learned there. I just.
All right.
Okay.
We got OG Patrice.
Yeah, OG Patrice. Shout out to OG Patrice, and shout out to brother Bernard S. I told Bernard S. that I was going to try going vegan for a month, but I told him that after I had already bought a whole pack of chicken breast, right? So I'm going to finish the chicken breast off, and I'm going to go meatless. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not, because, you know, I just think this is sad and coarse and vulgar to go without meat. Every man needs to kill something. That's why I support hunting. Every man needs to kill something in his life. Right. Okay. OG Patrice, how wonderful it is for you to bless us with your presence.
How you doing?
How you doing, OG Patrice?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
I'm well. My throat's sore, really bad. It's actually painful to talk. Yeah, it's actually painful to talk.
You better go get tested.
Okay.
No, I had a booster shot. I'm fine.
It doesn't matter. You had a booster shot. People still getting it.
What's the point of having the booster shot?
Exactly. My sentiments exactly. But people, the numbers are going back up because people are getting this strand out now is more like flu symptoms: sore throat, scratchy throat, chills, fever, runny nose, all of that.
Yeah. Yep. I don't think I have all that. But you're right. And I never would have gotten the shot to begin with. No, the vaccine. Until I caught it. I caught it back in November, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, man, I feel funny. So I went to, and then like, that was on Friday. Sunday, I still felt funny. I said, I'm not in pain. I ain't sick, but I'm just going to get tested. Got tested, positive. Doctor calls me up. I said, hey, doc, you got any treatment for it? He said, yeah, we got one. We got the monoclonal infusion. I said, I have good that. I'll take that. And so I went there and took it. They was like, you took that? I said, yeah, what is that? It's the same shit they gave Trump. So, yeah, if it's good enough for Trump, good enough for me, right? Kept him alive, and he's 109 years old.
Right.
With a bad diet, and never went south.
Thank you for your testimony about COVID. How are you, OG Retreat? What are your thoughts about the
yeah, it's a horrific story, right? It's like, I think we're at 300 and something mass shootings.
314.
Yeah, and it's insane. It's more than I've ever seen in my whole lifetime. Something is clearly wrong in the world with society. This whole change and shift in, the way people are raising their children and the lack of their paying attention to what's going on with their children.
Mm-hmm.
I went to see the comedian Lunell about 3 weeks, a month ago now, and she before she started her comedy show, she specifically spoke to Caucasian people that were in her crowd.
Oh,
and she said, you guys need to check on your children, especially your boys. She said, because they are hurting. They are going and doing these mass shootings, and something is clearly broken in them.
Right, yeah.
Check on your children. I mean, you could have heard a church mouse when she said that.
Yeah.
And then she got, she went on into her comedy and gave a great show. But, we know the percentages of most of the mass shootings are from Caucasian young men between the ages of 18 and 22, and that's FBI stats. Right, but let your boy Nathan, he'll tell you different. But anyway, I digress. But it is clearly something wrong with the lack thereof of parenting.
Yeah,
and these are coming from mostly well-to-do families. These kids,
mm-hmm.
their parents are six figures or more.
Mm-hmm.
Highland Park is like a medium to a high-end suburban area in Chicago. Michael Jordan house is still on the market for sale for $15 million right now. Been on there for about 10 years. He ain't sold it yet. And the young man and his family lived out that way. The father owned a deli, I believe, a restaurant or something. But what baffles me, and it was said that he had gotten in some kind of cult or something. Mm-hmm. And now they're saying, oh, he has mental illness issues. That's the first thing they like to say.
Yeah.
But it baffles me to hear that the parents and all of the relatives or whoever was around this young man, he lived with them, mm-hmm. absolutely didn't see nothing. There's just no way you can't tell me that somebody didn't see something, know something, suspect something, like you just I don't get that part.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like
somebody like that that's not normal, and
yeah, that's what I was saying.
It had to be some signs. I'm sorry, yeah. It just had to be.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too. Like it's one thing if you have someone who who is mild-tempered or whatever, but he has had incidents where he actually got violated, acted out on his family and stuff like that. Like he's made self-deletion attempts. That's obvious. That's an obvious sign like something's wrong. And I think sometimes too, and that's a testament. Sometimes you can be in denial. Like family can be in denial. Like, oh no, he would never do that. Oh no, but those are obvious signs going on. Hey, something's wrong. Something's wrong.
Clear denial. And I think that A lot of parents are dropping the ball because they're too busy in their careers. They're not paying attention to the warning signs of the children, that their children are hurting, that their
Right.
children are angry, bitter, jaded, whatever the case may be, and unbalanced on top of it. Because obviously, if he's, threatened or, tried to, delete himself, that's some sign of a mental illness, if that is true. And then I know I recently heard about the whole cult thing, that he had joined some cult. And then I think when they caught him, he was dressed like a woman.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
come on. I mean, even the smallest detail, if you know your child, the smallest detail of anything out of the ordinary that is not of the norm of their behavior, their personality, that should be a telltale sign. But I think that people are so busy in themselves that they're just not paying attention and they're not caring.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's there's a disconnect or something like with this parenting, like, because I don't remember growing up and having, like, hearing about so many different, like, teenagers and stuff like that having these issues, black, white, whatever. Like, I don't ever remember having, like, hearing about, like, so many, like, young people being, like, so depressed and just so ready to end life. Like, so I mean, to me, I don't know. But yeah, I think some of it is like the parents are dropping the ball.
And I think too that the pandemic definitely have made people more traumatic, because we've never seen more deletions, in the last 2 years of family and friends and just people in general, and being quarantined for almost 2 years. That's trauma.
Yeah,
to
that is
most people. And I think the average person that is already going through mental health issues or any type of psychosis, right, is going to affect them even more. They're going to become paranoid. They may hallucinate and things of that nature. So I think that all of this plays a part in it, and and the lack thereof of whatever they not getting or didn't get at home, because it always starts there first.
Right. Yeah.
But that's all I wanted to say, though. Thank you guys for allowing me to come up and say my piece. I will step down and digress and enjoy the rest of the show from the chat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Appreciate you coming through.
Thank you for coming through. You're
No
always
problem.
appreciated.
You guys
Okay.
take care.
You too. Now listen. Primal studies.
Hey, everybody.
The problem is here, problem studies, is we need to take away the guns. Guns are the problem. Guns sit in their closets and in their safes, their lock boxes, and they do nothing. And they're causing all this gun violence, okay? You see the logic here? You see the logic here, Primal? You see why we need to take away the gun?
So did they not have similar items available in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s?
They sure did.
So what's the difference?
People's mentality.
Yeah.
So similar items, I'm just going to refer to them as items, have been available for 50, 60, 70 years. But it's only in the past 20 years, give or take, maybe, the 1990s, but in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, there were as many of these incidences in a decade that we are currently having in a year.
In a year. Thank you, Primal. Thank you.
So we are having a decade's worth.
Right.
We are having a decade's worth of incidences that would have occurred in the entirety of the 70s, and we have it in 2021.
Right.
Oh, and like how many we have? 300 in 2022 alone.
Three something, and we're actually decreased from 2021 at this pace, right? If I was looking at the numbers, and it actually we're on pace to be less than 2021, so we're actually technically having a better year. But it's a crazy concept, because you can't. Yes, you can say we want to have safeguards and we want to have regulations, and that's all great and good, but those things weren't in place 40 years ago, but we didn't have these problems. It's a cultural problem.
Yes.
Right. It is.
Thank you. That's what I said earlier. It's a culture. It's the culture, man. Because when you look at it, during Jim Crow, when black people had every reason in the book to go out and just slaughter white people, they didn't. And guns were just as liberally giving away a soul back then.
Yeah.
We had rifles and pistols and whatnot to hunt with.
Yeah.
Everybody knew how to shoot. You know what I'm saying? So, none of this.
And I'll even extrapolate that farther. I think that it is a direct reflection of the breakdown of the nuclear family in America.
Yes, thank you. And I said that earlier. I think a lot of this, when you're looking at looking for causations, a lot of this is these kids have been neglected for whatever reason by their parents. There's a lack of parenting going on there. Because I went to my sister, I said, I watched all the crazy shit in the world. Those rated R movies, RoboCop, Predator.
You watched Predator, and you didn't go Arnold at anybody, did you?
Right. I didn't go on a killing spree. I watched all the rated R movies growing up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and that's what I said. I didn't go out and do no crazy stuff like this to people. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get into a fight unless I had to. But you know what I'm saying? But it ain't video games. I had video games back then too. Yeah. It's not. No, it's you parents getting these video games for kids. You sit in front of TV. You're not spending any time with them, so they're not getting any guidance from you.
Because here's the other thing. When you were young, okay, maybe you didn't have a video game, but did you play Army with your friends?
Right, I did. Cowboys.
We'd all pick up sticks and they pretend they were our items of destruction and stuff. So we were still playing the fantasy, whether it was on a video game screen or whether it was with our buddies in the backyard. We were still pretending to do similar things. And yeah, the video games maybe put some graphics to it and make it easy to do sitting in your chair. But I think this is a cultural issue and it's a mental health issue. And sadly, here's the sad truth of the thing. Mental health issues will not start getting better until we have proper funding from it. And here's why. Hospitals do not make money on mental health. They actually often lose money on mental health services. What services in hospitals actually make money? Things like cardiac, surgery, plastic procedures, those kind of things. Those are the real money makers in hospitals. What doesn't make money is mental health services. And why do you think there's so few hospitals with mental health services? Because they often have to write that off as a loss. Like that's a tax loss column for them. And a lot of hospitals are operating on margins that are just not very big. So they literally can't afford to have mental health facilities because it eats into their bottom line. And you can talk about, how much money they make and not for profit and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, they're not making money off of mental health. So there will have to be substantial funding provided for mental health to be out there enough. Like in my own life, I've known several people that if you think mental health is hard to get access to for an adult, try to find mental health help for a pediatric patient.
Right, because even people make complaints about the VA, right, and the lack of mental health services that there are. Now they've gotten better, but it's still shit. Here's the thing, like when I first got out, dude, bruv, my first appointment was like 16 months after I made it. Yep. And it's because their backlog was that much. They had so few mental health therapists. I mean, and when my appointment came up, I was like,
I'm okay.
I forgot.
By that point, you figured it out. Yeah.
Right. And plus, I had forgotten it. Yeah, I was cleaning up once and I found the old head, like, I had this appointment back then. No one called to confirm. No one called to see if I was okay. Nothing. So, you're right.
And the other part of that is you luckily were okay. You either kind of had it within yourself to sort through it, or you had friends around you and support people around you to help you sort through it. Some of these people out here, they're either able not to sort through it themselves, or they don't have the people in their lives to help them sort through it, i.e. that nuclear family that we kind of talked about earlier. They just, whether people are in the house or not, it might be just this, hey, we're in the house, but like you said, we're working 2 or 3 jobs and we're never there. And we're kind of like, what do they call them? What are those turnkey kids, the turnkey generation or whatever that was? I think we're seeing a lot of the repercussions of some of this cultural shift. And we have a lot of broken-minded, wounded, hurt young men who aren't getting what they need, because to my earlier point, you don't see young ladies out there committing these acts.
You don't. You really don't. And it's something in the that's why it's so important to focus on your boys, because boys can be, you leave because we can be feral. You know what I mean? My sister and I was talking about one time about grapes and stuff like that. That's the thing is, once a boy hits puberty, it's different for a girl. Once those hormones shoot up into your brain, it is a whole nother world, and it takes real discipline to hold on to yourself and like, fuck this. Nope. Sometimes you have to literally make yourself like not approach a woman in a certain way or something like that. When it first hits you, you know what I'm saying? It's like you don't know what's going on. And you don't really know what's going on.
Yeah. And that's where it's crucial to have a strong father figure, uncle, male parental type person in your life to help you understand these things and how to go about it and how to let out some of those aggressions in a healthy way. Because as a young man, as you enter puberty, you're going to get hit with massive boost of testosterone, and testosterone is a aggressive chemical. It causes aggression. So we need to help young men learn how to sort through this and to have healthy outlets for this, as opposed to going into this deep, dark places and then at some point basically exploding into acts like we see here.
Right.
Yes. Because thank you, Primal. I said the same thing. There needs to be, as far as my solution to this goes, there must be copious amounts of funding put towards mental health and towards the goal of finding causation in these events, these incidents, right? Mm-hmm. That was my solution, and you came up here and back up. Yeah, I mean, and if you talk to mental health, and I have talked to mental health professionals about it, they're like, well, the problem is, how do you solve for it? And I just threw some things out there to just pick his brain. He's like, well, the thing is about, a lot of these people come from broken homes and poor backgrounds, but so do people who go on to be millionaires. He said there's far too many people who go out and live a straight life to say that coming from a poor background is a causation. It's an association, but it's not a causation. It doesn't cause anything. There's too many other people who go the other route for you to say it causes it. You know what I mean? So
I'll say this much: like, they don't have the same access to resources that other people may have. And that's a detriment to them. It doesn't mean that they're going to turn out bad. It just means they don't have as many safety nets in place to help them should they kind of get off the path a little bit. And I saw Queen Smiley, latchkey kids, and that was the term I was looking for. I appreciate that.
You're right.
I agree with Lou. And I see Lou in the comments. Martial arts is a blessing for any young male. Yes, 100%.
Yes, it is.
It teaches you a lot about discipline, self-control, understanding that the world is bigger than just you, how to kind of channel some of your emotions and your feelings, and just respect for the world around you. Because I feel like a lot of these people, they just kind of lose that somewhere along the way. Is they kind of forget that these people that they hurt, or maybe they don't care about it, is they have their own lives too. And they're not just affecting themselves, they're affecting the world around them. And the ripple effect on that is huge. Those 7 people that are no longer here from the most recent incident, what's the ripple effect of that now?
Exactly. Right. And that's the thing. I mean, these people's families are impacted. The rest of us are going to go on with our lives tomorrow, and in a couple of weeks, we're going to forget about it.
Right. I just want to take a second to say,
and I feel like I've taken up enough the mic, so I want to pass it back to whomever, because
no problem.
Other people.
No I just want to give Andre and Corey a chance to speak. First of all, I wanted to acknowledge Andre and Corey. How y'all doing?
What's up, Shoo?
What's going on?
What's up, Mandrell?
What's up, Andre? What's going on, man? Why you always driving at night? We can't see you. Okay?
This damn job, man. They always keep me on the road, man.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to tell you what to tell them, but that'll get you fired.
Nah.
Anyway, Andre.
There's a million jobs out here, man. Mandrell, I'll be all right.
Okay. Andre, what do you think of this whole issue? What do you think a solution would be? Primal and I are on the same exact page with this. Because when you talk to psychologists, like unanimously, they have told me we simply don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's just we don't have the funding or research funding or the leeway to go find out either. So what do you think of this whole situation with all these mass shooters? We're at 314. That's almost as many days as there are in a year. Okay? Yeah. And like Primal says, back in the day, we're doing today in a year what it took 10 years to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What do you think of this? And what do you think the causation is? Tell us your thoughts, Andre.
I think the causation is two things. I believe it's racism, and I believe it's finances. Because
the white man's gonna come get us. The white man's
no. But I would say this, Mandrell. Hear me out. Listen, why did Trump become president? Because Obama was president, right? And the white man feared that his country was being taken away from him. I don't know why they feared that. Because I don't know who has more power or more control over the country than white people. They got
I got you. Now, since the white man is already here, Corey, Primal, tell us, why do you fear?
Why are you bringing this on?
Corey,
here we go.
Why do you fear the power of the black man? Why did you think that we were taking your country away?
Come on, Corey, speak up for your people.
Yeah, you and Primal.
You guys are savage. You know that.
But I hear you, Andre.
Hey, look, Mandrell, Corey want to say, I love black people. I got 10 black friends.
Right. How do you know how many black friends you got there?
Why you counting?
Why you counting? Like, I don't know. I have no clue how many white friends I got. No clue.
I don't think I have any white friends anymore. I've been cast out. Yeah.
Right.
You're on whose network? Black Man Unfiltered.
That's right, man. They done cut me off, man. Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So you think they thought that they were taking the country? That's what it meant by we need to take our country back, as if they lost something. But those are yokels, morons, and hillbillies and the like. Okay. So we're not amongst those. These particular white men, the new white man looks down on those.
But what did the insurrection show them? The insurrection showed them. It showed them they can get away with stuff and not be held to the same standard that everybody else can be held to.
But how many people got shot during the insurrection?
What, maybe 2?
Yeah, 1 or 2. So it doesn't classify as a mass shooting. So why is it that white people can riot, no one gets hurt, no one gets shot, but when black people do it, the entire neighborhood gets burned down?
Because they don't care about us. And nobody cares about us, to be honest.
Because they don't care? I mean, it's just...
No. You think the government cares about black people?
No.
You think black people care about black people?
No.
Exactly my point. Nobody cares about it.
And I also think you missed the entire question. I think you missed that entire question, too. I'm messing with you. But yeah. Okay, so the mass shootings, though.
Mm-hmm.
The government's not going to do anything about guns. They're not taking guns away. That's not happening. You can forget about that. I'll stand in protest. I myself will stand in protest against that. You okay? So, what do you think a possible solution for this issue would be?
I think the best solution is you give people better resources. So you got to fix the education system. If you fix the education system, then you fix most problems in the community. You give people more resources because if you educate people, they know how to get a job for themselves. They know how to fend for themselves. They know how to farm for themselves. They can fit all their necessities. They can take care of themselves.
Okay, so give people resources. Okay, so here's the thing. Why should my tax dollars that I earn go towards you getting your resources? when I had to earn mine. Why can't you earn yours?
You don't think it should go to the education system? You don't think schools should be better?
Well, schools should be. Well, no, schools should be better. I agree. Public schools should be. I think that American public school system should be a modern marvel. I think that and our healthcare. Well, I think
especially
the American.
When you live in the city and you pay more
Right.
taxes than
I
the people
think
in the
that,
suburbs.
right. I think that the American healthcare system, along with the American education system, should be the ninth wonder of the world, the eighth and ninth wonder of the world.
Yeah, but too much money is being made off of that, though. College.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, but I think.
I'm talking about public schools. I ain't even talking about
like
college.
Right. I'm talking about medical.
Even in healthcare, though, like too much money is being made, like off of insurances and stuff like that. Like, stop.
Right, but at the same time, we should be using Star Trek shit. You know what I'm saying? I should be able to take a device and go, and then boom, you don't have cancer anymore.
What you mean? You cutting in the profit?
You don't have cancer anymore. You know what I mean? So
listen, how much stuff did they take away
no
from
money
the
in the
public
cure. You know that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
and
true.
how much stuff did they take away from the public education system? They took away home ec. They took away driver's ed. They took away automotive school. Like you got basic skills in high school that you could get a job right out of high school. You can't even do that anymore. You gotta go to a private school.
Because you had welding, wood shop. You
Vocational
had
schools are a real treasure, actually. Yeah.
Right. You had auto mechanic, because kids used to leave our school early when I was in school and go to auto. See, I didn't even know what vocational school. I heard people going to the vocational school program. I had no idea what it actually was. Had I known then what I know now, I would have went to vocational school for auto mechanic, like in high school. Yeah. I'd have jumped into the vocational program and went for auto mechanic. That way you got a trade or something. Now for me, I didn't need it. You know what I'm saying? But luckily, it's a good skill to have.
Absolutely, it's a good skill to have.
Yeah, I mean that, and welding. Yeah, all those are good skills to have. They make you real money. Like Prime said, vocational schools are a real treasure, and they get overlooked because people say, "No, go to college, get a job." But you come out of college,
we came into this place of hating on the blue collar worker. And we said that the blue collar man wasn't good enough, and because he's not making six figures, and because he doesn't have his MBA, then he's not desirable anymore. But lo and behold, I know a lot of plumbers who are out there in the world just killing it, and they got their start with a vocational school program.
Yeah, I went to high school with a guy who right out of high school went and got his license to be a plumber. He got almost a chain of his plumbing business. It's not only all over the city. It's in like 4 different cities now. You know what I'm saying? His business. He's brick and mortar stations of his business now, of his plumbing company. And went to high school together. The guy never went to college. I mean, it's crazy.
And I guarantee the more resources you have and the better education you have, the better decisions you make on what to do with your life. Instead of just looking at your life and saying it's hopeless and I don't have anything.
That's true.
Yeah, absolutely. Corey Hager, you've been here. You've been here on this planet a while. So, what can you tell us in your experience? Okay,
when you said I was old enough to remember Vietnam. Actually, I could use that as an example, because when our servicemen come home, now you listen. This is about servicemen. That was the first time it was an all-out propaganda onslaught against our servicemen.
Yes,
our
it
country
was.
has been going, and it was perpetuated by the media and politicians.
Yes.
Our country's never been the same since.
And you know what, Corey? The Army never forgot that, because I remember being in basic, almost everywhere that I've been in the Army, basic training, airborne school. When I got assigned to a team, like during training, you know what I'm saying? They always made reference to Vietnam and how soldiers hated after that.
Yeah.
But the Army has, I don't know about the other branches. Marcus could probably speak on the Marine Corps. I can't, because I wasn't in the Marines, but I was in the Army. So the Army has never forgotten that. Because they still to this day bring it up. How soldiers were treated back in Vietnam. After Vietnam, Shamari and I have an uncle who served in Vietnam. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And
shout out to your uncle.
It was the first. Yeah. It was the first time our country actually focused on the servicemen, the enlisted men, instead of blaming the politician for their policy and the acting commanders in the field. they went after the regular GI. It was unbelievable. It hadn't happened before.
Right, and the regular GI. What regular GI? What can he do?
Stopped.
Right.
So they've been attacking men and masculinity ever since then.
Yeah.
Right, and Queen Smiley says, "I know a plumber who's making over 100K with no degree." Absolutely, easily, man. Especially today. Easily, you're a plumber. You can eat that. Yes.
I have good friends. Their backlog list, they can't even get to new clients for a year plus right now.
Right. There's no shortage of work for plumbers.
That's actually great news, though.
My uncle's a master electrician, and he's got so much work he can't handle it all.
Wow.
Right. These vocational programs, man, outstanding.
Yeah.
No problems.
And you don't have to go out 100K in debt to go into them.
You got that right.
Exactly.
So, okay, imagine coming right out of high school making 75, 80K a year and working your way up to 100K pretty damn fast, and you have no loans.
Right.
Sounds like a pretty decent plan to me.
Yeah, it sounds good to me as well.
Well, you know, if you get a driver's license or you get a CDL, you can be 20, 25 years old driving these delivery trucks for UPS making 30 an hour. If you got a CDL, you can pull the triples and make 42.
Right, exactly. And because those things, those Uncle Andrew used to be a truck driver for UPS once upon a time. And he was pulling in bank for real with that, you know. And yeah, there's tons of different things. I think these things need to be pushed to give kids options, but also the funding towards. Go ahead.
I just seen on Craigslist, owner operators are making $6,500 to $7,500 a week, pulling special loads a week.
Wow.
And that's on Craigslist. How generic can you get?
What's one of the bigger stressors out there in people's lives that gets thrown around on the news a lot? College loan debt, right? Student loan debt is this thing that always gets talked about. We have, different Congress people promising we're going to relieve X amount because people are so burdened by this. Imagine the shift in mentality if people just didn't have that anymore, in terms of like they came out of high school with a job producing skill. And then think about the tax dollars that they would be generating as well, because they're out there working instead of being in school for another 4, 5, 6, 7 years, just building up debt.
Right.
That tax money could be something that could get plugged back into some of these services that are so desperately needed. I think Andre hit a really good point with give people skills, give people training, fix the education system. And then if we have more, people working and contributing, then maybe if our elected officials allocate that money wisely, then maybe we would get some of that money for some of the mental health problems. I know I see Wes laughing, but I could dream big, right?
Right. That's the other thing. People
elected officials knowing how to
right.
Money.
Well, we don't hold them accountable though. We allow them to do whatever.
Right. That's true. And let's see, Marcus, you came. Then we're gonna go to Wesley.
Yes, sir.
Marcus, what you got for us, man? This whole mass shooting problem. Like Primal said, we're looking at numbers this year and last year. Just this year, numbers this year alone, whereas back in the 60s and 70s, it took 10 years to reach this high. We're doing now in 1 year what it used to take us 10 years to get to.
Right.
What's your thought on that? What's your thought on this recent turn of events and the four that happened on the 4th of July that we didn't hear about? What are some solutions that you would throw out?
Well, first of all, besides that grim note, how's everybody doing? I want to say it's not a good thing. Obviously, it's a very tragic thing, and it's a alarming rate. So I only feel more bad for the parents because, there's parents here on this panel who give a damn about their kids. And even though I believe in you're right? Because as Tim Kennedy says, former Special Forces Army, and he's a former UFC fighter, he says, right that goes unused is one that goes wasted. And it's unfortunate that behind these contingency plans, we don't have a solution yet. And I always say, hey, I know it's going to sound like cliche, but the deeper into the background check, the mental self-evaluation. Also, I would say put in a number of hours with your gun when you go train at the range. Have an instructor with you, see how you're doing, see how you operate. And I know like the whole issue is also maybe having more security policemen at schools. I know at school when I went to, sometimes there's like a bomb threat, allegedly, right? And there was like, certain people that supposedly brought a gun to school, but nothing ever happened. Obviously the metal detectors, unfortunately, even though the court system uses that, when you go in and walk into the court, you get, you get that wand on you, you go through that little scanner. Unfortunately, we might have to do that to go walk into the school just to make sure the kids feel safe and parents feel comfortable. Now, some parents are starting to homeschool their kids. Others are taking them to more private schools because the private schools don't really have those issues as much as the public schools do. At this point, honestly, it's hard to say because we can't foresee the future. We can only see what's in control of us for that day, in that moment. So it's tough, and I can only feel more for.
Yeah. Wesley, you and I have similar views on politicians and government officials and the like. All right. What say you to this? I mean, our government is out to lunch. Okay. It's a sleepy Joe. Okay. So listen, what do you think, man? This whole thing, do you blame the guns? See, I think it's the guns because the guns sit in your parents' closet, under your pillows, if you're me. Okay. And but all over the place, really, where your sister can come around, walk around your place, not notice they're even there. She walked right past like 3 of them. Right? No clue. No clue. I've watched her walk right past like 3 of them. No clue they were there. Right. So I'm armed right now. Okay. Right now, sitting here right now, I'm armed. So it's like, yeah, and so they're sitting there, mind their own business. They're in the lock boxes, they're in the safes, they're in the closets and everywhere else, doing nothing. And see, they're the problem with this country. They're the source of this whole gun violence thing. What say you to that?
Not now.
Okay, not now.
Go away.
Okay, gotcha. Now here's the thing. Okay. Yeah. What are some possible solutions you got for us?
Solutions. Well, let me tell you a couple stories. I'll try to make them quick. I have a friend of mine. She's like she's super hippie. So like very interesting person. But I was having a conversation with her once because she's living in a very country area with a lot of meth around her. I'm like, you should probably get armed being living out there. And she's like, why? So one day my daughter can find it in my stuff and shoot herself with it. I'm like, no, my kids are always around armed weapons. They know where they are. My kids are always safe because I've taken them to the range. They know what it does. But also more importantly, it's never in their reach, especially when they're young. Then I told her, like, why don't you ask your mom? Because it was her daughter's birthday party. So she turns around and asks her mom. She goes, Mom, Wesley thinks I should get a gun. What do you think? And she goes, oh, yes, you should. And my friend Brittany was like, what? My mother's telling me this? She's like, yeah, I was thinking about getting a 44 Magnum. So then I had to talk to Mom into getting something a little lesser because she lives in a residential area, and that's going to go through the walls.
Yes, get a 380 or something.
Yeah. So now, I'll tell you another story. When I was going to college in my early 30s, which I probably shouldn't have done in my early 30s, there was a debate in class, and one guy was saying that, yeah, this is Georgia. There's lots of people that carry, and one girl's like, yeah, but I don't know about it. Like, does that make you safe for not actually knowing about it? Do you not understand how these things work?
Right.
Ironically, if she had $200, if she could muster up $200 from even a bad credit card, she could have gone down the street, got a cheap gun, some rounds, and done whatever she wanted to. But people are not realizing the reason why most people are not just randomly going around to the gun store and doing this because most people are not interested.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to the government, I think America has, in general, been asleep at the voting booth. Thankfully, the past few years, people have been paying a lot more attention and trying to see what's going on and trying to vote in people that are actually going to enact change. Most politicians are just trying to keep their job. They don't give a shit about you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're all about, well, what do the people want today? Okay, I'll vote that way, and then I'll go hit a few rounds of golf. They don't care. They're not looking at issues. Now, when it comes to, gun violence, it is a mental health issue. Now, I'll tell you another story. This happened like 5 years ago. I was talking to a girl, and she was trying to tell me that all white males have mental health issues, and that's why we have gun violence. I'm like, have you not heard of the Dallas shooter? She's like, what? And the Dallas shooter happened like the previous year at this point. Like, you haven't heard about the Dallas shooter? The black guy that shot a bunch of black people while he was aiming at cops? And she's like, I don't know anything about that. Well, okay. Well, you know what the media really wants you to know. Notice how the media only cares about mass shooters when black people are affected?
He was in Montgomery County, Maryland. That's what they caught him at. But like he was going around like just sniping people.
The DC sniper.
The DC sniper.
DC sniper. I remember.
Yeah.
See, they're going to plaster this latest shooting all over the news. They don't ever want to talk about Chicago and their regular mass shootings.
That's true. That's so true.
They're very regular mass shootings. Now, if we really want to address this on a mental health level, and this is going to be this is going to sound like it's coming out of left field, but I think taxes are a big issue here. And just hear me out, because like I said, I know it's out of left field. A lot of overtaxing is killing a lot of local economies. It's killing a lot of families. When you start talking about the 2-income trap, it's becoming more real every day, unless you truly know how to navigate those problems. But when you have both parents working full-time jobs because they think it's going to get them further in life, and then suddenly it's not helping as much, who's giving attention to the kids at home?
Right.
Loneliness. There's been several medical studies that have cited loneliness as more detrimental to your health than smoking.
Oh, wow, really?
It's physically it's detrimental to you. Mentally, obviously, it's very detrimental to you. Being alone and playing with your thoughts, having your own thoughts to work with. And these past 3 years, mental health issues have skyrocketed because this whole 2 weeks to slow the spread, and you're saving your community by locking yourself in your house and being afraid of everything.
Right.
That's hurt a lot of people. Suicide in every demographic skyrocketed, and we're talking 7-year-olds.
Yeah.
So we're right now we're dealing with the aftermath of everything we thought we were doing to protect ourselves, or what a lot of people, mainly Democrats, were doing that, because they thought they were protecting themselves by not talking to other humans. But they have destroyed their mental health. So
somebody not alone.
I was gonna say, Mandrell's mixing up a protein drink. I hear him in the side.
I thought he was making a smoothie.
You're right. That's like I said, a big contributor to this is a lack of parenting, and that's due to a lot of these bad policy that has contributed to that. Parents are allowed to parent the way they need to be allowed to parent these days, in my opinion.
Hey, you know what I feel like I haven't heard about in a long time though?
What's that?
The BOMBs going off and ending a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
What happened to that? Because wasn't that a popular thing there for a minute? Weren't a lot of those going boom boom and ending a lot of people?
Talking about
They had one today in Georgia that destroyed that monument, that New World Order monument today. With eugenics practices. It was
the guidestones.
Yeah, the guidestones. There were eugenics practices written on those guidestones.
So it's really creepy.
So why are we hearing about these BOMBs going off?
That's a good question.
They blew it up. They did their thing. Right
after the chaos. Who was that guy that was like a security guard for like the Olympics? Who was the name of that? What was the name of that? Mandrell? Remember that guy?
Who?
Me back in like '96.
Who?
I think so. Was it the 90s or the 2000s? That the security guard. I think he was like in an East Coast state where they were like hosting an Olympic event or something like that, like a marathon or something.
Yeah, but it was it was but they ended up arresting the wrong guy and all that stuff. So I guess the real bomber got it when the Olympics were in Atlanta. You know, that's when they built Interstate 285, but long before the Olympics were coming, because they knew the Olympics were coming. So they built 285 to surround Atlanta, and yeah. The Olympics were in Atlanta, and some guy had a bomb there, and they arrested the wrong guy. So the real bomber got away. Like they were convinced that this guy was the guy who did it, even though there was no evidence. No evidence that he did it.
Wasn't there a movie about that?
Are you saying the government is not good at what they do?
But I had a reason I asked that specific question. So if it's not rifles, it's something somebody makes up at home that can end a lot of people. If somebody can't make something up at home, maybe they get in their SUV and drive through a parade. Or if you want to go really old school, what did Cain end Abel with? A rock.
Yeah.
So it comes down to if people want to end other people, if they have it in their mind that that's what they want to do, they're going to find a way to do it. So how do we solve the issue? It's not take away the rocks. It's not take away the SUVs. It's not take away the fertilizer. It's to fix their minds.
Tax slingshots.
It's got to start in the home, though.
Agreed. Yeah.
That would make sense, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, tax slingshots.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
That's your solution, Billy.
I have no words. Okay, no words, no comment.
No.
That's it.
The one thing I've noticed is people.
Who's next?
You sound like a good politician there. You should run for Congress.
Right. Whose life should I fix next? Anything else on the agenda?
That sounds like they came from the Trump playbook.
Right. That's it. That's all.
All right, tax. It makes too much sense. You know what I'm saying? Tax the slingshot
massive
guy.
talkers of shit, and I'm really glad I'm here.
Right? Such a healthy space.
Now, actually, me personally, I'm gonna take it all the way old school. I'm not gonna take anything away from the type of person that does these crimes or the mental health aspect, but nothing is gonna go past me. I'm not putting nothing past nobody. I think it's the government. Honestly, I think that a lot of these crimes are committed by people who cannot afford these arms that they have, that they show up with, and they take these people's lives. And, you know, it is happening too often and they're getting too good at it. You know what I mean? It's starting to be like, you remember back in the day when it used to be a shooting, when it first started, they used to like, you know, do just schools and just like movie theaters and stuff like that. Now they're getting to the point where they're doing it in like parade settings and, you know what I mean, real soft target places. And
4th of July celebrations here in my city, Philadelphia.
And like what we have to do is we have to make it harder for everybody. We have to make everybody a hard target, basically. Make it so that you are almost afraid to do it, because the police aren't going to take their lives. We see that when they're apprehended, they're going to go and spend the rest of their lives in jail, and they're probably going to be very, very comfortable in there. They're going to get you know, mental health treatment. They're going to get the best of the best meds. They're going to be on Xanax so hard that they probably won't even realize they're in jail for the rest of their life.
Well, you know what else, Billy? I think if you start arresting the parents and the guardians, I guarantee they get them kids in line.
Well, no.
Well, hold on. Let's not do a little overboard on that.
That's part of what caused the problem.
Right. Oh, I can't go with that one, Andre.
We can't go with that one, man. We can't go in absolute with that, because, like, at the end of the day, the way I look at it is the person who does it is the person who deserves to be. I don't believe in such mass punishment, because then at that moment, it's just like
the point with Shushu brought up earlier. If you see signs earlier, this kid's killing cats, He's isolated all the time. He's making violent threats to his family. You don't speak out about that. Guess what? You should be held accountable. You assess.
Can I throw you a curveball? So like Jeffrey Dahmer, right? Jeffrey Dahmer's family didn't abuse him. They were actually people of society that were serving the community.
No, I'm not saying that the family did something.
Well, hold on. Jeffrey Dahmer ended up becoming a cannibalistic homosexual murderer. And he went on crazy. What he did was crazy ass shit.
Cannibalistic homosexual murderer. All three.
Boom. All three.
Yeah.
And he harvested that shit in his fridge.
There's some people out there that you're just not going to reach, man. There's some people that their minds are broken, right? We can't fix everybody, but we can probably help most people. We can probably help most people, but we can't fix everybody.
Right.
You can't fix it. And that's the thing. Like I was telling Shamaria, I was like, you gotta understand, like, it's crazy how you watch some movies and truth comes out of it. Like some of the things they say, like in that Batman movie, when Alfred was telling Batman, like, there's some people you can't negotiate with, you can't reason with them, you can't bargain with them. There's some people out there who just want to watch the world burn, and that's true. That is true. There are people out there. That's just who they are. But then you got other people, like Prime was saying, who are broken, right? It's just okay. They were born, they lived for a while, the world ate them up, and now this is how they are.
John Wayne Gacy.
There are causes to their shit. There's some, but at the same time, there's a lot of people out there who they don't care. They'll go do that. Right, they'll go do this kind of crazy stuff just for good sport, just for fun, just to see what happens out of curiosity.
I think that men in this country have become so sheepish and so sensitive that we don't necessarily even protect our own anymore. Like there's a reason why in America this happens more often than usual. Like I think that in another country, like suppose like this happened in Dakar, Africa. Like if a dude like walked into a mall and sprayed it up, like he would be on the 5 o'clock news on a stick. They would be marching. You would see his body like going down the street. You know what I mean? And I think that's what needs to happen to these people. They don't.
I'm not mad at it.
Getting into a police car, you know what I mean, all safe and sound, and then going to court with the padded the Ninja Turtle suit on, and then you know what I mean. No, they need to be walked down the street butt naked with a chain around their neck, like getting whipped and kicked and
someone with a bill going, Shane.
Right.
Shane.
Well, I like what Billy said earlier. I really
little tar and feathers go a long way.
I really like what Billy said earlier about hard targets. To keep it 100, I think more people have to have that mentality of being a hard target. Like you got to be ready to take care of business. I mean, do you see these guys walking into a police precinct and trying to open up in there?
No, but that would be awesome if it did. I'd buy that guy a beer.
But you get what I'm saying is they're not going to walk in. What's one of the best defensive things you can do is be a hard target. People don't want to attack you.
Right, Wes?
Exactly. Well, that's why they aim for elementary schools, because for some reason that's the one government institution we don't protect with guns.
Right.
But just imagine how honest if criminals would be like, "Hey man, I'm going to rob you," and you're like, "No, you're not. Let me get the gun on. That's it. Boom."
Well, y'all, we have about 10 minutes left, and so we're going to go around and do final thoughts.
Ready? Yeah. I'm ready.
Yeah, right. We ready. So, I don't know how you want to start. Clockwise, we'll go around. I don't know. I guess
I'll go first. Thank you guys for having me on. Excellent show. Thank you guys for joining the panel as well. It was good to see some new faces and hear some new opinions. Don't be a stranger at all. You guys are welcome. I like seeing, you know, the other side of the color spectrum on the panel. You know, it's
Right.
Black Man Unfiltered, but it ain't all got to be black men up here. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
come on back now. You hear?
But no.
Yo, is that new?
Really? We appreciate you for coming through. How you want to go? I guess West.
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having me up here. More importantly, thank you for having the conversations in open forums, because the media is not having conversations anymore.
Right.
They're just trying to tell us things and get us all riled up.
Right.
And
it's working.
Yeah, it is working.
Right.
And you know, just if people are watching this and really trying to divine something from anything that we said, I'd like you to try and focus on just having a happy family, a place where you are happy with yourself and loving towards yourself, and you've produced a loving family. Because the people that don't focus on money, they focus on their family, they have a lot more wealth in the long run. I've seen plenty of wealthy people that are just absolutely miserable because then at no point do they focus on loving themselves or loving the people around them or creating a loving environment.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, to that point, that's why I kind of made up my mind as far as how much money I want to bring in. Because the more money you make, the more effort you have to put into it. And if you want to create a family, like I want to make a family.
Girl, I'm sorry, we got 7 minutes, and we don't need you talking up all 7 minutes. We try to get.
I'm not gonna talk about all 7 minutes. I'll let everybody else go. Then I'll go.
He wants to tell us about his new boyfriend.
Andre Terry, thank you for showing up, brother. Please give us some of your final thoughts out here.
All right. Listen, I appreciate you let me on the platform, Mandrell. I love you, man. I think you're hilarious. I really think you're stand-up kind of you are beautiful, and I appreciate your insight all the time. It really starts with the education, man. I think if everybody would take time with one kid or one group or whatever charity event, and they could just help out, and they could help teach somebody something that they didn't know when they was a little child, we can help make our community better. Because you can't rely on media or YouTube or whatever, because they're doing it for the money. Everybody's doing it for the money. It's got to be a heartfelt thing, and then we can change the world if everybody takes the time and they really care about what they're doing. Appreciate y'all. Black Man Unfiltered. I love it.
Thank you, Andre.
Nice to meet you, man.
Thank you, Andre. Marcus.
Yeah, great show. I respect everybody here. Respect everybody's opinions and viewpoints. If you're a weirdo with a gun, get the hell away from me. And then also, you know, just I don't know what to tell you, but just say, hey, let's try to come up with more solutions, like you guys all just said, and keep it pushing. Keep it short. Thank you so much, Black Man Unfiltered, Mandrell, Shushu, Primal Studies, Corey Haga, everybody else that came in. Hit the link, like, share, and subscribe to all of these ladies and gentlemen, and hit the Cash App.
Okay.
Thank you.
I guess Corey, you want to go next?
Shoo, you're taller than your brother, right?
Ha! Hello.
Okay, no, wait.
No, she's not.
Well, do me a favor.
And she's not taller than me.
I'm not taller than him.
Okay, well, take your brother by the hand and take him to Radio Shack and get him another mic, please.
I got you. I definitely do that.
Anyway, I love you guys. I guess I'll just drift to the back and wait for the after show.
All right.
There goes Corey showing his age. Radio Shack doesn't exist anymore, Corey. Primal.
Brutal. Hey, thank you so much, Mandrell Shushu, for hosting us. Thanks for Black Man Unfiltered, pulling all the levers behind the scenes. So I appreciate you all doing this. Great discussion. People have been ending other people for thousands of years. This is nothing new. It's not the items. People will find ways to end other people. We got to fix the people. We got to fix the minds. We got to fix the families. That's where it all starts. And until we get some of these things on the right path, be a hard target. Be ready to protect yourself at all times. Watch where you're going. Look at the events you attend. Do that risk analysis and check where you put your time and be ready to react. I'll leave it at that.
Oh, and let them know about your channel.
Oh, yeah. Primal Studies. I do a show usually on Sunday evenings. Just a whole myriad of topics talking about finances, relationships, fitness, just interesting, trendy topics. Go check it out, Primal Studies.
Thank you, Primal. Mandrell.
Yeah, good show. It was a good show, wasn't it? Wasn't it? It was a damn good show.
It was. What's your final thoughts? That's it.
My final thoughts on this is that we do need to allocate far more funding into psychotherapy, and to help psychotherapists and psychoanalysis develop techniques and means to identify causations in this kind of behavior. And I also firmly believe that this is a problem with social economics, for one. I think that's a big problem with it, the socioeconomic climate in this country, because governments have been signing into law policies that make it more difficult for you to earn money. And look at the inflation costs, and no one in politics is making adjustments for it. So you're making people's lives harder when it was already stressful. You know what I'm saying? Consumer economy plus high inflation does not mix. And you force people into working 2 or 3 jobs. Now kids are home alone. Now they're underparented and over policed. Everyone's on edge. You got a bunch of psychopaths with a badge and a gun shooting a guy 89 times while he's running. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, psychotherapy. That's where that's the key. That's the solution. Allocate far more funding towards it. All right, and that's my solution.
I'll add to that. I think more funding needs to go into psychotherapy, but also I think that somewhere along the line, masculinity has been lost, because, like Primal said, it's a reason why there aren't women out here doing this. It's all men and parents. You got to get back to paying attention to your kids. Like, I understand it's hard out here. I understand, inflation. I understand you got bills and everything, but you gotta fortify your children. Because they're hurting and they need you. So that's my final thoughts. And thank y'all for joining us again tonight. Please join us again next Wednesday, and be safe and love one another.
Yeah, and shout out to Queen Smiley in the chat. I see you.